Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily and Happy New Year! We have finally reached 2022 and I am so happy about it. So today I will be doing my January TBR and it is a little different from how I've been doing it. I will kind of explain when I get to picking my TBR cards, but this is just a trial run. I wasn't really happy with how it was going. I didn't feel like I was wanting to read the books I ended up picking, so I just kind of want to give myself some space to mood read, and I didn't want to put so much pressure on myself to have to read these books. And I know what you're thinking, why have a TBR game then? Because I like to give myself a little bit of a challenge, and sometimes these challenges help me pick up books that maybe weren't on my radar for that month or anytime soon, so I'm just gonna go with it. If it doesn't work out this month, then I will rethink about my TBR stuff and go from there. But I still need to pick from my previous TBR jar. If you don't know what this is whoa, this is just all the books from past TBRs that I said I was gonna read, but that I didn't. So most of these have like horror, mystery, thrillery kind of books in here because October was a big TBR month for me and I just didn't get to all of them, so here we go. Maybe. Hope I don't get something I already have planned for my TBR this month. Let's go with this one. Okay, and it's White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I'm okay with that. I have not read anything by this author yet, but I am really excited to. So that was a good pick. Okay, now to the cards. Okay, so here are all my TBR deck cards. So deck 1 has challenge prompts, deck 2 has genre prompts, deck 3 has color prompts, and deck 4 are books that I need to read before the end of the year. I wanted to show you what they looked like without the light on because it does wash them out. So I will be pulling 4 cards from each deck, and it will make kind of a square, and there will be 16 cards. The goal is to read as many of them as I can before the end of the month, and there is no punishment if I don't. It's just something to kind of challenge myself throughout the month. So I'm going to be cutting the decks in half as my shuffle. Also, sorry if you hear any sounds. They are my family and I can't help it, so we're just gonna roll with it. All right, our first card from deck 1, A Book Set in the Cold. So for our first pick, we got A Book Set in the Cold. For this one, I am not 100% sure, but I know that I think part of it takes place in a certain place that I believe has like wintry setting, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I did not get to this in December, but that's okay because I really love this author, so getting to read one of her books this year is going to make me so happy. I still have to read Crescent City by her, which is right there, and the second book comes out this year, so I need to read this one so then I can jump into her newer series. So already starting off with a chunky book, but that's okay. Number 2 from deck 1, Sydney pick. So this is my oldest daughter, and I will just have to have her pick me a book that I should try and get to this month. Okay, so the second pick was Sydney pick, and that is my oldest daughter, and she was excited to get to pick something for me, and it's like a running joke in my house because I always have my mom or my kids pick a book for me to read, and then I never read it, and it all stems back to this one time my mom picked a book for me, and I absolutely hated it. I read it all, but I absolutely hated it, so now I'm like hesitant to pick up books that they have picked for me to read, but my daughter picked one of the books off my 22 books to read in 2022. So I think that this one will be a good choice, and she has chose The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, I believe. Sorry if that's not the author's name. The picture will be right here. All I know is that it has to deal with multiple dimensions, and I read 1,000 Pieces of You, which also deals with that, and I really enjoy that, and I think I'm going to enjoy this book as well. Number 3 from deck 1, if I can get it. Number on the Cover. Okay. The next one is Number on the Cover. For that one, I picked a reread because I reread it last year, and I have just wanted to kind of pick it up again. So that is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. We follow Misha and Ryan and their pen pals, and then they kind of agree not to see each other, but something happens and they have a falling out and they stop talking to each other, and it's just angsty and good and heartbreaking and romantic, and I love this, so I am happy to reread this at the beginning of this year. Number 4 from deck 1, A Hyped Book You Never Got To. This one should be easy to find. The last one for deck 1 is A Hyped Book You Never Got To, and this one, I read the prologue. Yeah, I read the prologue for it, and I just never continued on. I was feeling stressed because it is a big book, but that is Shipa Magic by Robin Hobb, and this is a hyped book that I didn't get to this year. I wanted to read at least the Farseer trilogy and the Live Ship Traders trilogy last year, but I didn't get to this series. It's just so intimidating because I hear so many good things about it, and they're super long and they are very character driven, but I'm gonna have to go for this one because I really want to read it, and I really enjoy Robin Hobb's writing and her characters, and I want to get back into this world. Okay, number 1 from deck 2, Literary Fiction. I don't know if I'll be reading anything for that this month, but we'll see. So the first card in deck 2 was Literary Fiction. For this, I'm kind of stretching it a bit, but I'm gonna go for a poetry collection, and that is Pillow Thoughts. I hear tons of good things about this poetry collection, and I need a short book on this TBR if I'm going to try and get through all of these books that I really want to read. So yeah. Number 2 from deck 2, Contemporary. Not going how I wanted it to, but we're rolling with it. Okay, the second book for deck 2 is Contemporary. For that, I want to read Hydra by Matt Weslowski. This is a series following this guy who does this podcast, and it talks about like crimes that were committed in a series of 6 episodes, and it follows like 6 people usually going over the events of what happened in a crime. And I love the first book. I read it in 2020, and I did not read anything last year from him, so I really want to carry on. He just had his 6th book in the series come out in December, so I really need to get on it with this series. Number 3 from deck 2, YA Fantasy. I can do this. Number 3 from deck 2 is YA Fantasy, and for this, I am going to be reading Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. Again, this was also on my December TBR, but I did not get to it, and I'm very sad. It is a big book. I'm adding lots of big books, but I'm feeling so much more motivated to read books this month, and I can't wait. I loved Red Queen series by her, and I expect the same for this series. And number 4 from deck 2, Adult Fantasy. Okay, so we're making up for some of these. And the last card from deck 2 is Adult Fantasy. For that, I plan on reading The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. I've heard really good things about this from Pierre Ford and J.D. Ray Reads, and I want to get to this series. It sounds so good. The 5th book, I believe, comes out at the end of April this year, so I kind of want to read like a book a month, and hopefully I'll enjoy them. Everyone else seems to. I know that it's diverse. I think there's some LGBT rep in there, so I'm excited to get to that. Plus, like I said in some of my past videos recently, I really want to get into adult fantasy this year, and so I'm just going to be stacking them on my TBR and hoping I get to them. Alright, number 1 from deck 3. Oops. So I can get it. Black. Perfect. I have plenty of black books. So the first card in deck 3 is black, so a book with black on the cover, and this is going to be a reread, and that is going to be Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I want to reread this for a video I'm doing, a secret video, but I also need to get to the second book after this, which is, I believe, a companion book in this world. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I need to read this again so that I can then read that and then move on to her other series. Number 2 from deck 3, green. The second pick for deck 3 was the color green, so a book with green on the cover, and for that I'm going with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. It has quite a bit of green. I'm trying to read The Cosmere. I did read Warbreaker at the beginning of last year, but after some further research, I think I need to start with this one, and I'm hoping to read like a book a month for his Cosmere, and hopefully that goes well. Between The Realm of the Utterlings and Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, I have tons of reading to do, so that is also on this month's TBR. Number 3 from deck 3, black again, so 2 blacks, which is good. Number 3 for deck 3 is another black book, and for that I have one that I recently got at the end of last year, and that is Beasts of Prey by Anya Gray. Ayana Gray. Sorry. Not good at pronouncing some of these names, but this cover is absolutely stunning. I've recently heard really good things about this book, and I'm excited to like jump right into it. I don't know anything about it. I can't remember anyway. All I know is that I think this is going to be a 5-star prediction. So really, really hoping to get to this in January. Hoping to get to all of these, but we will see. And number 4 from deck 3, white, which plenty of white ones. Then the last pick for deck 3 is white, so a book with white on the cover, and for that I'm going to be reading Malice by John Gwynne. This is definitely one I'm going to be getting to this month because it is also part of a TBR thing that I want to do. I know that John Gwynne has kind of been mentioned a lot recently on BookTube, and like Vikings, and I think these like gods or something, like these giants or something. I can't remember, but every time someone talks about this book series, I just want to pick it up immediately and read it, and so I decided I was going to put it into a video idea I wanted to do for January. Okay, number 1 from deck 4, Kingdom of the Wicked. Not sure if I'm in the mood to read that one yet, but we will see. So now on to deck 4, which are books that I want to get to before the end of the year. I have made lists and these books are all on them, and the first one we got was Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I really want to read this year. I don't know if I want to read it in January because I want to kind of like marathon the whole trilogy. So this one I'm not really sure I'll get to, but it is on there if I feel like I want to. Number 2 from deck 4, Local Woman Missing. I'll have to see if I have the audiobook out from my library for this in time to read it this month. The second book from deck 4 is Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, I believe. Mystery thriller. I have the ebook for this, but I also put the audiobook from my library on hold, and it says it's like 8 weeks from the time I'm filming this, and I just don't know if I'm going to get it in time. If I do, I'll definitely read it, but if I don't, it's not a big deal. at number 3 for deck 4, Nevermore. This is a middle grade series, light and easy. So the third pick from deck 4 was Nevermore, and that is by Jessica Townsend. I've heard lots of good things about this. It's kind of been compared to, I want to say, Harry Potter a little bit, but I know this is a middle grade, and I think we follow Morrigan Crow, who it's told on her 11th birthday she's going to die, but I don't think she does, obviously, and she ends up finding out, I think, that she has some magic, maybe, or she goes to this magic school. I don't know, but I know that I will most likely love this. It is a 5-star prediction, so I think I could possibly get to this month. And finally, number 4 for deck 4, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Okay, so we have all 16 cards picked, and I will be trying to find books to read for all of these, except for these ones. I'll try and read those ones, and of course my previous TBR pick will also be included. And we have reached the final card for deck 4, and that is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I loved Horror Store and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by him. I listened to the audiobooks for both of them and really enjoyed. I will definitely grab the audiobook for this one. Follows a bunch of final girls in a support group, but then they all start dying. And I heard it's not his best work, but I'm still really excited for it. I'll read anything he writes, honestly. I don't know if you can tell, but right there I have the My Best Friend's Exorcism that is also by him that I really want to get to this year. But that is it. I do have some other books that I'd like to get to. I don't think I'm gonna name them here just because we've already gone over a lot of books. So that was it. I have so much to read. I don't think I'm going to get to all of them, but that would be great if I could. I really want to challenge myself and try to pick up all of these books. At least give them a try. Maybe I'll try a chapter for all of these. I don't know if I'll make a video for it, but I would definitely enjoy doing it for myself and going with what I'm feeling at the time. So like this video down below if you liked it. Comment and tell me what you plan on reading this month. Subscribe if you want to. I would really greatly appreciate it. And I will see you again in my next video. Bye!